And what do you think happened at a lot of those meetings? He got yelled at. He did. Because why? We know why he got yelled at, right? Because we're the ones, the teachers were like, you're asking us to teach something we have no materials on. And the parents were yelling too. They were yelling quite a bit because they didn't understand why, their child was doing great in school and now they're no longer proficient. But instead of taking, all of that yelling in the beginning, he started to learn. And he actually started digging into what factually was going on and what the problems were. And then he started turning hearings into actual conversations because he started to actually listen and educate himself on what was going on and what was so wrong. And as I said to you before, he produced a report that outlined everything that he heard in those meetings. He didn't try to shy away from the fact that we have a debacle on our hands. He didn't shy away. He said the teachers are good on standards, but their problem is if you're going to ask us to teach you to a standard, then you have a responsibility to support us in shifting to that standard. And that is just a basic common sense approach. But as we have been talking about this for years, he actually went and did something about it. So I cannot thank him enough for the work that he did on this committee, and thank him for, it's not easy going out publicly and getting yelled at. But these are things that we're all used to. And, to see that leadership, an elected official, and seeing someone taking their responsibility as the chair of the Education Committee to a place that now people talk about the Flanagan Report, I'd like to now bring to you Senator John Flanagan.
Good afternoon. My God, I should probably not say anything after those kind words. So, welcome to Albany. Now, I have to tell you a story. This room for me has special meaning. Years ago, this is where I took the bar exam. Now, the good news is I passed the first time. The bad news is every time I walk in this room, I'm like, oh my God. Okay? I was sitting right there for the bar exam a number of years ago. But I'm delighted to see all of you here today. And I do want to make a couple of comments. I really want to thank Michael Mulgrew, your leader, and an educational leader not only in the state of New York but across the country. And one of the things I've come to deeply appreciate and continue to learn is his passion, his advocacy, his outspokenness. And all of you know this, but it bears repeating. When you walk into a meeting, Mr. Mulgrew, and anyone else is there, and you walk out, you don't scratch your head and say, my goodness, what does he think? You have no problem finding out what he thinks, okay? And that... But I have to tell you, that is refreshing. It's welcome because we have open dialogue. Senator Skelos has given me a tremendous amount of latitude to work on behalf of our conference. I want to thank him. But I know in our conversations, we deeply appreciate the camaraderie, the collegiality, and the frankness that goes back and forth between UFT and our conference. Now, let me tell you a couple of things, and I do not want to take a lot of your time. I'm sure you have plenty of other important things to attend to today. We did do a report, and the Senate was out front. We held statewide hearings. I sat as a member of the Governor's Education Reform Commission, so traveled around the state the year before, all over the place, just on that work. And now, I think as a result of a collaborative effort, actually listening to people, a lot of what we advanced has been a catalyst for more open discussion, more debate, more friction, a little bit more consternation, but I think many of us feel we are finally moving in the right direction, and some of the people responsible for the things that you need to deal with on a daily basis are getting it. Not as quickly as we would like. So, I'm going to just touch on a couple of very basic things. What you do is absolutely, incredibly, unbelievably important. And many of you have seen the commercial. It really is. It really is. And to a degree, I come from a family of teachers. My father taught biology. at the high school level. My sister is an English professor at a college in Missouri. My other sister was a chemistry and biology teacher, and I was probably ill-suited for that, so I went into politics. But be that as it may, I think there is nothing more important, nothing more effective, and nothing more gratifying than having a strong quality teacher in front of the classroom. Now, commensurate with that is the whole dialogue about education. It's not where it needs to be. There are leaders in this state who denigrate education, by extension, the people who do the work every day. The aides, the paraprofessionals, the maintenance people, everybody who participates in that process. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having discussions about the problems that we face and the problems that we should confront. But if we're going to do that, we also have an obligation, and I know the work of the union in particular, in advancing specialized programs for children, we should also be talking about all the good things. The glass is always half full. And that's the way I'm going to look at it. So there are plenty of wonderful things going on in the city of New York. Are there problems? Absolutely. Do you know what they are? Absolutely. And we have to work collectively to try and help fix them. So now, let me just touch on, in Albany this has now become like a four-letter word, but Common Core. All right? There are, I think about this in this context. If we want you to succeed, and really what we're looking at is student outcomes. How do we make things better for students? And if you are properly prepared and you have the requisite tools that you need, it can work quite well. And you demonstrate that it can work quite well. But I liken this, if I tell you you're going to have to prepare a student for an exam that's coming in April or May, and in September I tell you there's a book, but I'm only going to give you one chapter. And if things work out, in the next month I'll give you the second chapter. How do you properly prepare? How do you educate yourself? How do you take care of those children? And how do you assess them properly? Because you're not afraid of accountability. If you have the tools, you're not afraid of accountability. And neither are we, and no one should be. Because it is ultimately about how do we take care of kids. And we are striving to do that. We have the ELA and math exams that are coming up, the Regents that are coming up. We have issues with the ACT and the SAT, and Common Core alignment relating to that. So there's a lot of moving parts right now. And I think our single greatest obligation in this month is to come up with a fair, equitable budget that recognizes the needs of children all across the state of New York, including the city of New York, which is a really critical component of our economy. It is the economic engine for the state of New York, and we should never forget that. So we do have to provide equitable funding. And I came from, and I'm going back to, a panel, a Common Core panel put together by the governor, and we're talking about testing. We're talking about pre-K through 2 and pre- and post-testing. And how can we change that? And I think we're going to try and do some of that during this month. I know Mr. Pilato would be gratified if we could do that. I know Mr. Mungo would be ecstatic if we actually do some of those things. So, I'm just going to close on this. I hope that you do extraordinarily well. The jobs that we all have, Rita Skelos is giving me the opportunity to chair the Education Committee. It is an awesome responsibility, but it's an opportunity that most people never have. So I thank you with the greatest sincerity for the work that you do, and we need to partner. I will promise you that I will do everything conceivable within my power to make sure that you have everything you need, and frankly, if I don't, Michael will make sure that I do. So, on that note, you all have a great day. Thank you.